Much of our discussion is focused on water quality and what we need to do to protect it. But land is a key part of the story. Iowa's fertile soils and our millions of acres of land are the foundation upon which our society and our economy rest. It's important to recognize that what goes into the water oftentimes comes off of the land. So when we think about water, we have to think about land and how it's owned and how it's used. This is Professor Neil Hamilton of the Drake University Agricultural Law Center with today's Our Water, Our Land. There are almost 36 million acres of land in Iowa, over 34 million of which are privately owned. You may have the good fortune of being one of Iowa's thousands of private landowners. If so, you know the joy and the pride that comes with being a landowner, and the responsibility. But there is another important type of land ownership. That's public land. Public land in Iowa takes many forms. State parks, wildlife refuges, public hunting areas, city ball fields, bike trails, and flood reservoirs, for example. We're here today at Walnut Woods, one of Iowa's state parks. Iowa's public lands include the over 900 projects owned by the county conservation boards, such as Hamilton Prairie down in Adams County. Our public lands are a vital resource, offering us places to get outside and recreate, to hunt, to fish, to hike, to boat, and just to enjoy nature. These lands are a critical part of our economy and of our quality of life. Public lands are there for all of us to use and enjoy. Importantly, this means that every one of us is a landowner. Iowa does not rank very high when it comes to public land. In fact, we're 47th in terms of the states with the smallest percent of land in public ownership, about 3%. But this still amounts to almost 1 million acres. Some people foolishly believe that Iowa does not need any more public land and that we can't afford it. But thankfully, this is just a small minority. The truth is, Iowa could use much more public land. A recent trip in the Sandhills in Nebraska illustrated for me the wide range of lands that are available that are held by the federal government and the states for us to enjoy. My trip took me from a national historic site such as Chimney Rock to a national monument like the agate fossil beds. My trip wove through national grasslands, forests, wildlife refuges, and scenic areas. I just missed a national park, but there was Fort Robinson, a state park, as well as a state forest and many other places that were publicly owned that I could have stopped and enjoyed. You get the point. All of these properties are publicly owned and protected and there for all of us as citizens to enjoy. We may not have quite the same range of public lands available here in Iowa, but we do have many properties that are available for the public to enjoy. No one in Iowa lives more than a few miles from a piece of public land. So if you haven't been outside lately to see nature and to recreate, this summer is a good time to get out and explore the public lands next to you and in your region, lands that you own. The next time you hear someone brag about the joys of being a landowner, remember that you are a landowner too. Remember, as citizens, we are all landowners. The public lands, like the water in our rivers and lakes, are public resources there for us to enjoy. This means we all have a responsibility to ensure that our lands and waters are used wisely and are protected. That's a responsibility that goes along with being a landowner. This has been Professor Neil Hamilton from the Drake University Agricultural Law Center with today's Our Water, Our Land.